Today, guys, we're going to be seeing how Chef Ranveer makes his omelette, or more specifically, how he makes like an eggless omelette. So I'm curious to see. And if you haven't seen any of our other reviews of Chef Ranveer, then be sure to do so, especially if you haven't seen our butter chicken review of his butter chicken. We made it, and I'll tell you what, you need to see that video. You definitely need to see it after seeing this one. Also, if you are returning to my channel and you like my content and you have seen some of my recipes as well and you like them as well, then be sure to give my videos a like and a share, but more importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, let's get started.
हम जो बावर्ची लोग होते हैं ना, हमको ना बेकू बनाने में बड़ा मजा आता है। किसी को शलगम बोला गोश्त खिला दिया, किसी को आलू बोला चिकन खिला दिया, मतलब overall जिसे बोलते हैं ना art of deception.
This is true, and it depends on the context, because sometimes when you go to like a Michelin restaurant, whereas gastronomy, a molecular gastronomy, they break everything down, like making spherifications, for example. That is the sphere that is made from, let's say, tomato or from olives or anything like this, and you don't expect it, compared to going to a restaurant where they have something on the menu and then you get something completely different that you did not order. There's a difference. And there's a difference with the deception. On the one hand, it's something that can be as an enhancement and it can be a whole nother world, like going to a Michelin restaurant. And then on the other hand, it's not good deception. And it does happen sometimes.
एक सिंपल सा तरीका मैंने ढूंढा है आपको बेकू बनाने का। तो जी नमस्कार, मैं हूं रणवीर ब्रार और आज आपको बेकू बनाएंगे, ऑमलेट खिलाएंगे बगैर अंडे का।
Oh, he's going to be making an eggless omelette. This would be interesting, huh? Wow, I'm excited to see how this turns out. Speaking about omelettes, this would be a good time to have a word from our sponsor, EGGLESS. It's almost spring, and while New Year's resolutions may have come and gone, it's never too late to invest in yourself and in your kitchen. EGGLESS has revolutionized the cookware industry with an all-in-one hybrid pan that combines the convenience and cleanup of non-stick, the versatility of grandma's cast iron, and the durability to last a lifetime. It's a game changer for any kitchen. Even Gordon Ramsay swears by using EGGLESS pots and pans. He uses them at home and in his Michelin star restaurants. And that is how you know this is the real deal. For a limited time, EGGLESS is offering our viewers 10% off their order with our exclusive link. Just head to EGGLESS.com/ChefJames to claim your discount and upgrade your kitchen game today. With EGGLESS 6-piece set, you'll enjoy incredible versatility for all your cooking needs, from eggs to steak, sauces to burgers. EGGLESS has you covered. Plus, their patented laser-edged hexagonal steel ridges boost your serving power like never before. EGGLESS truly checks every box. Their pans are utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and induction ready, meaning that you can use them on not just your gas burner or electric, but also on induction, which is a big deal. Plus, with their stay cool handles, sauteing has never been easier. Upgrade your kitchen today with EGGLESS revolutionary cookware. Trust me, your partner, your family, and all your dinner guests will greatly appreciate it. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Get 10% off your order now at EGGLESS.com/ChefJames. Thank you, EGGLESS, for sponsoring this video.
तो जी बगैर अंडे का ऑमलेट बनाने के लिए आपको अंडा तो चाहिए नहीं होगा। आपको एक्चुअली चाहिए बेसन, मैदा और ब्रेड। ठीक है, ये ब्रेड वाला जो एडिशन है ये हमारी मोनोपोली है, किसी को बताइएगा मत।
Okay, so it's going to be adding a little bit of bread to this. The gluten in bread is elastic. That helps with the elasticity, so it helps act as a binder. And since he's adding bread to this, this is not going to be gluten-free. So if you do have a gluten issue, you're going to have to substitute here.
इम्पॉर्टेंट इसलिए है क्योंकि जो हमारा ऑमलेट है ना, उसको लचीलापन, बाइंडिंग, स्ट्रेच और स्ट्रक्चर, बड़ा अच्छा स्ट्रक्चर इस ब्रेड से मिलता है.
So if you ever wonder why some bread is super like stretchy compared to others that are not as elastic, it's the amount of gluten that bread has in it. And this is why with some recipes they call for bread flour or strong flour, where the actual content of gluten is a lot higher, because the more gluten that you have, the more elasticity, that rubber sensation basically with the bread, you have in it. It is a good thing, but sometimes, especially with gluten today, a lot of people have issues and not everyone can tolerate it.
आमतौर पे मैंने देखा है कि सिर्फ हम बेसन का चीला बना देते हैं, फिर हम बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं उसमें लचीलेपन के लिए थोड़ा मैदा भी डाल दो, फिर हम उसके अंदर थोड़ा अरारोट डाल देते हैं, सब कुछ आ जाता है, लेकिन वो एक जो अंडे की बाइंडिंग होती है ना, जो अंडे का खिंचाव होता है वो नहीं आता। तो एग को रिप्लेस करने से पहले ना एग का स्ट्रक्चर समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है। अब अंडे में क्या होता है, अंडे में होता है अंडे की सफ़ेदी यानी कि एल्ब्यूमिन, राइट, और अंडे का योक पीला। तो अंडे का जो एल्ब्यूमिन है वो प्रोटीन होता है, उससे बाइंडिंग आती है।
Chef Ranveer's talking about egg whites or the albumin. Now, eggs in general are basically like a little miracle. You can do so many different things and you can make so many things out of eggs, out of the yolks and out of the whites. But in other words, everything that a little baby chicken needs to grow, all the nutrients, all the vitamins, all the minerals and everything else is in an egg. Everything. So it is basically like a superfood.
लेकिन जो अंडे का पीला है, दी योक ऑफ द एग, उससे रिचनेस आती है, फैट आती है, रज़ाइयत आती है, राइट। तो इसलिए यहाँ पर वो फैट भी डालना ज़रूरी है, रज़ाइयत भी डालनी ज़रूरी है, इसलिए दूध और बाद में मैं थोड़ा मक्खन भी डालूँगा, ठीक है।
No, he's going to be adding some butter to this. And butter is fat. So is olive oil. And depending on where you live, at least here in Europe, the people that live more in the north use more butter, and the people that live further in the south tend to use a lot more olive oil. And you can see this with the recipes as well, with the different styles of cooking between the north and the Mediterranean and Europe.
एक हीप्ड टेबलस्पून बटर, एक चोटीदार टेबलस्पून बटर। अगर आप पुरानी गृहशोभा, मनोरमा, सरिता ये सब पढ़ें तो वहाँ पर आपको प्योर हिंदी मिलेगी, खाने की हिंदी, दी ओरिजिनल कुकिंग हिंदी। उसमें हम लोग बोलते हैं हीप टीस्पून, वहाँ लिखा होता है चोटीदार।
In the old Hindi magazine, so in the old recipes basically for Indian cooking, they used to use a lot of butter or like heaped tablespoons. Well, they used to say this too in like the older recipes in England and everything, like use a heaped tablespoon, something that's like, you know, heaped, flour, a butter, any ingredient, instead of giving you like an exact measurement. Some of the old recipes are they're more flexible. They're not as precise. I mean, guys, just take for instance this recipe for an omelette from the 1300s. Yeah, it's not extremely detailed. There's a little leeway. It doesn't give you exact amounts.
सिर्फ मेल्ट करना है, घी नहीं बनाना। अगर चम्मच को उल्टा करते हैं तो बस कोटिंग एकदम बहने वाला होना चाहिए बैटर। अब जो है दूध, मक्खन, जो रिचनेस हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं ना अंडे से, अब वो इसके अंदर आ गई।
I'm really curious to see how this is going to turn out, to see if it's like going to be something super close to what you think is an omelet, or if it's not going to be. Maybe we should actually test this recipe. Maybe.
अब इसके अंदर अगर आपको और थोड़ी सी वो अंडे की मीठीनेस डालनी है ना, तो ये ट्रिक किसी को बताइएगा मत, लेकिन 4-5 ड्रॉप आप सोया सॉस डाल सकते हैं। सोया सॉस से वो मीठीनेस आती है।
Real quick, firstly, I don't know why he's using the knife like that. He's using it backwards. I mean, you're supposed to hold the knife by the handle, not just by the spine of the knife and hold it backwards. But you know, it is what it is. You can still do it, but it's a little dangerous because you have the point towards you, not away. But what he means about adding soy to this, there's no other word to use other than, well, there is. You could use savory, but a lot of people tend to use the other word today, umami, which this is the extra sense that they just recently recognized. So if you want more of that meaty flavor, you could also add mushrooms to this because they do tend to have like a real meaty flavor.
चाहे तो हल्दी बढ़ा दी, येलो कलर बढ़ा दिए, लेकिन नमक की जगह या नमक के साथ सोया सॉस का इस्तेमाल कीजिए तो वो मीठीनेस जो होती है ना अंडे की, वो भी आ जाएगी। सब बता दिया मैंने, हैं? वरना बना ले जाते ये बगैर अंडे का ऑमलेट और बन जाता चीला, और आप कहते रणवीर आपने बताया नहीं। रणवीर ने बताया चीला नहीं बनाना, बगैर अंडे का ऑमलेट बनाना है, इसलिए वाइट ब्रेड वाला फॉर्मूला और साथ में वो मैदे वाला फॉर्मूला, साथ में मक्खन और दूध वाला फॉर्मूला भूलना नहीं।
I'm thinking about adding milk to this. This isn't a very vegan recipe, is it? Because vegans they don't drink milk. But in any case, at least it looks like a good vegetarian recipe. This is true.
हमारे घर में ना एक नियम है कि कुछ भी हो जाए, ट्यूसडे सैटरडे को नॉनवेज नहीं बनेगा। अभी ईशान को पता होता है कि आज ट्यूसडे है, सैटरडे इतना बड़ा हो गया वो, तो वो ट्यूसडे और सैटरडे को ही ऑमलेट मांगता है, क्योंकि बच्चों को मतलब इतनी अकल तो होती है ना कि मम्मी पापा को कैसे बीट करना है। तो ये जो इलाज है ये बड़ा काम आता है ट्यूसडे सैटरडे को। होपफुली वो जितना लेट ये वीडियो देखे उतना अच्छा है, हमारा जुगाड़ हमारे यहाँ से चला जाएगा।
If anyone's curious on learning more vegetarian or even vegan recipes, Indian cuisine, and keep in mind Indian cuisine is a little generalistic because in the West we just say Indian cuisine, but India is a big country and it's different from north to south, east to west. But in any case, they have a lot, and I mean like a lot of ideas for different types of recipes that are vegan and vegetarian. So if you are interested in this, you may want to check out more of Chef Ranveer's recipes and some of the other Indian chefs that we have reviewed.
अच्छा, कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं कि ये सारी सब्जी लेते हैं, इसको अंडा फोड़ के उसके अंदर डाल देते हैं ऐसे कच्ची, है ना, या फिर इसके ऐसे मिक्सचर में डाल देते हैं और फिर वो बना लेते हैं। मज़ा नहीं आता। हल्के से बटर में आप सौते करते हैं ना, सिर्फ सौते करना है, बटर में डाल के आप 50 तक गिन लीजिए, उल्टी गिनती उतना बहुत है, तड़का नहीं लगाना, लेकिन हल्का सा बटर में सौते करते हैं तो बटर के अंदर इसका फ्लेवर जाता है, इसके अंदर बटर का फ्लेवर आता है, फिर वो सारा फ्लेवर अंडे में आता है, तो जस्टिस होता है डिश।
So if any of you are wondering why he's sauteing the veggies before, it's a good idea to cook the vegetables before because they can actually take longer to cook than, say, the eggs, because normally eggs cook in an instant, while vegetables, especially depending on how big you cut them, take a little longer to cook. So if you want to add a little bit of ham to this, if you want to add tomatoes, onions, whatever it may be, it's a good idea to saute them like he's doing before.
तो सौते करने के लिए टाइम दें। देखो जी, पहले बनाते हैं चीज़ ऑमलेट। हमने बड़े सुबह सुबह उठ के ट्रॉलियों में अंडे बनाए, हर होटल मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग ने बनाए होते हैं।
Haven't we all been there for breakfast service? If you are an up-and-coming chef and you haven't been on breakfast duty and you haven't made a lot of eggs, it is a good idea to be on breakfast service at least once or a couple times to learn how to make an omelette, to learn how to make some scrambled eggs, and to work during a fast service, because I'll tell you what, a normal lunch and dinner service is not the same as breakfast service. For breakfast, you have to be quick, you have to be making a lot of omelets at the same time, and you know, they have to be flying out of there.
आधी नींद में, क्योंकि गेस्ट को तो नहीं पता था ना कि भाई डबल ड्यूटी कर रहा है, कल रात को ही गया है 12 बजे, सुबह सुबह आ गया 6 बजे अंडे की ट्रॉली पे। बड़े मज़े का टाइम होता है जी। होटल मैनेजमेंट जैसी कोई पढ़ाई नहीं है।
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I've been there a lot of times. If you have to work until like 12 or 1 in the morning, there will be times that you may have to be back at work at 6 in the morning. I've had to do it in multiple places, in multiple countries, and it's not fun.
अब अगर ये अंडा होता ना तो मैं बोलता कि एक काम करिए, बस एक तरफ से कच्चा छोड़ दीजिए, अपने आप अपनी हीट में पक जाएगा। लेकिन ये अंडा नहीं है, ये अपना वाला अंडे का सब्स्टिट्यूट है, इसलिए इसको पूरा पकाना है, ऑलमोस्ट 90% डन करना है। दूसरे केस में मैं इसको 70% डन करता।
What Chef Ranveer is meaning about that is that normally when you're making an omelette, you don't want to fully cook the whole thing when you go to flip it because it will continue cooking. You want to leave it a little underdone, and then after you flip it, it will help seal it, especially if you're making like a French omelette, and the end product shouldn't be fully cooked. This is at least if you want to make a perfect omelette.
काम शुरू किया, फिर मैं गोवा से दिल्ली आया, तो जो होटल की मालकिन थी वो बोले कौन लड़का कौन नया आया है किचन में, बोले ये रणवीर ब्रार है। बोले अच्छा उसको फ़ोन पे बुलाओ। पहले दिन आई फ़ोन पे मुझे बोलती है कि मेरे को फ्राइड फिश चाहिए, नो ऑयल। मैं बोला है
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a short story in a second.
बोले हाँ मेरे को फ्राइड फिश चाहिए, नो ऑयल। तो उस केस में फिर अपना दिमाग लगाते हो, अभी मैं क्या करूँ, इसको ओवन में डालूँ, कैसे करूँ, टेस्ट कैसे लाऊँ।
That's true. When you get some strange orders, it can test you, especially when you're like super focused and you're super busy. And you know, you have a little bit of a mental block because you have too many things going through your mind. It can test you.
फिर एक दिन मुझे बोलती कि मुझे ना मशरूम चाहिए जो 65% पका हुआ हो। अभी 65% मतलब 23 साल का लड़का। तो मैंने बोला जी एक काम करता हूँ, फिर मैं आता हूँ ऊपर जहाँ आप रहते हैं, वहाँ पर बनाता हूँ इसको, फिर आप तभी के तभी खाना, तभी होगा 65% पका हुआ। तो बोलती ठीक है, तो आ जाओ तुम। तो उनके किचन में मैं गया, वेट कर रहा था, तभी उनके जो हाउस हेल्प थे वो आए और उन्होंने बोला शेफ आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो। तो मैंने बोला अरे यार माता जी ने परेशान किया हुआ है।
Wait a minute, so you're telling me that she was actually in the kitchen while he was making this? That seems a little strange. This is not always allowed. I mean, this is rare unless somebody, you either know them, they have a little bit of power, they have money, you know, and they're paying a lot to actually enter the kitchen. But normally, a normal person, you just make the order and then that's it. Yeah, you don't get to walk in the kitchen and watch somebody make something.
माता जी बिल्कुल बाहर निकली पूजा करके और बोलती मशरूम कहाँ है। मैंने मशरूम सामने रखे, डाइनिंग रूम में उनका तोता था। जैसे ही मशरूम रखे टेबल पे, तोता बोलना शुरू हो गया, माता जी ने परेशान किया हुआ है, माता जी ने परेशान किया हुआ है, माता जी ने परेशान किया हुआ है। ना मैं दाएं देखने लायक, ना मैं बाएं देखने लायक। तो वो 65% पके थे या नहीं पके थे मशरूम, ये मेरे को नहीं पता, लेकिन उसके बाद मुझे पका दिया गया था अच्छे से। हैं? तो कहने का मतलब है शी मेड मी बेटर, राइट? उन्होंने मुझे बहुत बेहतर बनाया। बिकॉज अगर वो चैलेंजेस नहीं रखती ना मेरे सामने, तो कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है यार हो जाता है।
This is very true. I'll tell you guys a quick little story. I had this waiter come back and say, I have an order. If you can do a poached egg with a hard center and runny whites. And I was busy. I was making omelets. And I had to stop and turn around and just, I looked at her real quick and honestly I said, are you serious? Is this a joke? I mean, I can do it separately. Yeah, we can make that happen separately. But as a poached egg, you honestly want the entire thing together, where the center is hard but the whites are soft. Sometimes, huh?
A man on table 6 wants an eggless omelette.
He wants an egg. Kiki, you can't have an eggless omelette, can you?
Why, do we not have any?
No, they don't exist, do they? Because there's no breadsticks. What are they made of?
Bread?
Bread, very good. Okay, take away the bread. What are you left with?
Sticks?
No. There you go. That's an eggless omelette.
Okay.
No, don't take the plate, Kiki. What are you doing? Please.
Kiki, just ask the nice man if he'd like his omelette made with whole eggs or just egg whites. You can leave the plate. There you go.
If any chefs are watching, let me know down below what your strangest order was, whether it be for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner, or for room service, whatever it may be.
तो अब दो तरीके से बना सकते हैं इसको। एक तो इसके अंदर फोल्ड कर दें पूरा अंडा, है ना, और दूसरा ब्रेड के ऊपर फोल्ड कर दें। हम अंदर वाला फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करेंगे बिकॉज मैंने बटर लगाया हुआ है ना, फिर सेकेंगे इसको एकदम क्रिस्पी। अभी इसके ऊपर भी चीज डालनी है तो डाल सकते हैं, ऐसी कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है कि रणवीर ने बोला चीज नहीं डालनी।
Oh, cheese. Who doesn't like cheese with their omelet? Well, unless, you know, you don't eat cheese, but for me, I love cheese. And having a nice ham and cheese omelet, oof, delicious.
वो क्या है ना, मैं जब भी ऑमलेट बनाता हूँ मेरे को वो टाइम याद आ जाता है अपना होटल का ट्रेनिंग का, तो मैं ऑटोमेटिकली उसको होटल स्टाइल कर लेता हूँ। तो ये भी लग रहा है होटल स्टाइल ही हो जाएगा। टमाटर अपने आप चले जाते हैं पैन पे। जो जिसने होटल मैनेजमेंट किया, होटलों में काम किया, उनको पता होगा टमाटर अपने आप चले जाते हैं पैन पे, एक तरफ अंडा और एक तरफ टमाटर, ग्रिल्ड टोमेटो अपने आप।
Well, actually, if you're going to be making like a full English breakfast, it is pretty normal to have like tomatoes and also have some sauteed mushrooms with it. With the American breakfast, technically we have more like bacon and pancakes and everything. We don't have a lot of vegetables. But with the full English breakfast, tomatoes, they're common.
और ये टमाटर को जो है ना जलने दीजिए, ये ऐसे 4 होने दीजिए इसको। इसमें मेन चीज़ क्या है ना, स्टेज ऑफ कुकिंग। जैसे अंडे में क्या है, हम लोग ओवर कुक करते हैं तो पूरा बैंड बच जाता है, इसका भी वही हाल। इसको ओवर कुक नहीं करना। जैसे आप एक तरफ से पक रहा है, आप हाथ लगा रहे हैं, ऊपर से जो है टच से चिपक नहीं रहा, इसका मतलब पक गया, बस। उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है इसमें।
You see, having a non-stick pan makes your life so much easier, especially when cooking eggs. So if you are interested in a good non-stick pan, then you should check out our sponsor that I was talking about earlier. Even Ramsay uses them.
दूसरा, दूध और मक्खन से नरमी वैसे भी आ जाएगी। सब बता दिया मैंने, कोई भी मोनोपोली अपने पास नहीं रखी। अब ये मोनोपोली नहीं रही।
You do have to admit that this looks like a normal omelet. He did a very good job. I don't know about the taste. I'm sure it tastes good because we were not tasting it, but it looks like an omelette. If you didn't know better, you could fool somebody.
Look at this. ये देखिए, कौन कहेगा कि चीज़ ऑमलेट नहीं है? वाह भाई वाह, बस मोनोपोली वही है क्या जो रेसिपी बताई है, और ओवर कुक नहीं करना.
Agreed. You don't need to overcook it. Since this is an egg, you're going to have to cook it a little longer, obviously, with the bread and everything. But if you're cooking an actual egg omelette with eggs and everything for real, you don't want to be overcooking it.
दूसरी चीज़ जाते जाते एक नुस्खा और दे देता हूँ. वो नुस्खा ये है कि जब बैटर बनाएंगे तो कम से कम 15 मिनट रेस्ट करिएगा. बस एकदम से ग्राइंड करके नहीं. अब जो इसका टेक्सचर आना रेस्ट करने के बाद, एंड पटाखा.
Overall, Chef Ranveer did an excellent job. As always, I don't expect anything less from him. To be quite honest, he does good. Honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this is a normal omelette. Maybe a little overcooked, but a normal omelette. But this doesn't have any egg in it. And to me, this recipe looks like a good recipe, so we may give it a try. Also guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then don't forget to do so before you leave and to give the video a like. It does mean a lot to me. And who knows, maybe one day if we get enough subscribers, we can actually cook with Chef Ranveer. I would absolutely love to do a collaboration with him. I really would. If he comes to Europe, it would be great. Or maybe one day if I get to visit India, maybe one day. So hopefully guys, you have a great week. And until next time, take care.